Oh boy. So you guys voted in Brother Bear for the Disney retrospective on its 20th anniversary. I was kind of dreading it. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of dreading watching this movie for the first time. But here's the thing. My girlfriend Lindsay absolutely adores Brother Bear. So I sat down with her, I watched the movie. So let's talk about it. We follow a young Indian brave named Kenai, played by Joaquin Phoenix. He's got a particular distaste for bears, because his brother is killed by one pretty early on in the feature, and Kenai in turn kills the bear, only to be magically transformed into one himself. And to kind of complicate matters, his other brother vows to kill the bear that Kenai has become. Kenai's only hope is a magical mountain where he believes he can be changed back into a human, and he enlists the help of a real bear cub named Coda to get them there. Okay, so I'm completely aware that this movie has a fan base. I'm completely aware that this is Disney after all, and there should be some good in this. I went into watching this movie with absolutely zero expectations. And you know what, Lindsay, you kind of proved me wrong, sweetie. This movie, I was blown away by a good chunk of this. The whole first act of this movie I thought was unreal. I thought the animation was really nice, the colors looked really good, the story and the lore of this Indian tribe is so freaking fascinating. I thought the Phil Collins music overall was pretty nice as you started the film. I was really digging it. That whole action sequence where his older brother is killed by the bear, that's like something you'd see the Revenants do in live action form. Now wait a minute. Is The Revenants the live-action remake of Brother Bear and we just aren't aware of it? I'm sorry if that made some of you mad watching this, but then Kenai turns into a bear, and this is where my issues kind of start with this one. Now, if you look at the Indian tribe stuff and all their background, the dialogue that's written for them, it feels like this could take place at any time, and this feels like a Disney movie that could have been released at any time. But then you get into Kenai's dialogue with the young Coda, and Coda is asking him to pinky swear. And you could tell that this was written in 2003. And I don't know what it is. Like, I found a lot of this movie pretty funny for what it is. I liked the pair of moose playing I Spy. Is it moose or is it meese? What's the plural word for multiple moose? I might have just answered my own question, but you kind of get my point. I like those moose characters. They're really funny. But this dialogue that's written for these animals once Kenai is transformed into a bear, it definitely feels like it was written in the early 2000s. And when you put it up against the dialogue that the Indian tribe has in the opening act, it kind of makes Brother Bear feel tonally inconsistent. That's just in regards to the writing. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, oh, you just didn't like the writing, you didn't find it funny, I did. But take a movie like Shrek, for example, which came out 2 years prior. That's pretty much 2001 dialogue the entire way through, and it's pretty consistent tonally. So all I'm saying is when you put the dialogue of Kenai once he turns into a bear up against the Indian tribe's dialogue, it just doesn't fit. And not to mention, I feel like the story, while fine overall, feels very predictable. The fact that Coda is an orphan and his mother was killed by some Indian, the Indian himself being Kenai, it's like, it's pretty predictable all things considered. But it's definitely, like, you have the pieces there to create a very effective scene that tugs at your heartstrings when Coda does find out about that. But this is where Phil Collins comes in. Now, here's the thing about Phil Collins. His music's cool and all. I dig a lot of his songs and his discography. His music in Tarzan was really teetering on the line of distracting. It's different if you put Phil Collins' songs that can be played on the radio up against a montage of Tarzan swinging around. I'm totally fine with that because it feels like a pretty consistent soundtrack choice. But man, oh man, it's almost like Phil Collins couldn't stay out of this drama. Kenai is telling little Coda what happened to his mother, and he's confessing, and this is a scene that should really tug at your heartstrings, and wouldn't you know it, Phil Collins is singing over the dialogue. Like, it's legitimately so easy. Why couldn't you just have a somber musical score in the background? When you have Phil Collins singing about how you should be feeling and not letting the actual words of the scene tell you how to feel, it comes off really distracting. Yeah, that part really freaking annoyed me about Brother Bear, and the fact that all this dialogue feels very inconsistent, like it's written in two different time periods. But I gotta be honest with myself, I enjoyed Brother Bear a lot more than I was expecting to going in a first time watch. I definitely don't hate this movie like I was expecting to. Like, I mean, I was expecting some of these things to annoy me about Brother Bear, like I was hearing. And yeah, when I kind of expect it, it kind of lessens the blow. It is what it is, essentially. But I think for what it is, Brother Bear is a nice little family movie. If you love Brother Bear, more power to you. Like I said, I know this movie has a rabid fan base. Almost to the level of this being like a cult of Disney film. And even though it was better than I was expecting it to be, definitely not in the upper tier of Disney movies, at least in my personal opinion. I'm gonna give Brother Bear a C+. I enjoyed it, didn't love it though. But let me know what you thought of Brother Bear down in the comments section below. And let me know what you think the most disappointing Disney movie they've ever put out is. As always, I love discussing all new things in cinema, all things geeky like in the Disney realm. This channel is the place to be if you want to keep up to date on all those topics. So do consider subscribing and please tap the like button as well. Really helps continue to grow this awesome community out here. And stay tuned for more videos very soon. It's going to be a jam-packed month of July with a lot of big releases that I can't wait to talk about with y'all. Stay tuned for my next retro Disney review to be announced. I still have to kind of figure out what I want to do next. Might leave it up to the poll again. Who knows? But guys, y'all are the best. Stay tuned and thank you so much for your support. So with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.